The rice production by threefold, you say?
Oh, yes. We are talking about, you see, but if you look at the cost, I mean, if you look at the reduction of imported rice from 580,000 metric tons to 58,000 metric tons, you can see that gap. Now, it takes more than 1 year for you to close that gap completely. Now, we hope that with the next harvest, things will be much better. But you do not rectify in under 2 years, what it took about, 20, 30 years.
But, Alhaji, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but that's where I have to come in. When we think of the fact that this government understood or would have, seen the level that things were, going to get to. We already saw the indices coming. I think even at the Nigerian Economic Summit group, there was a warning that, we were heading towards a recession if things were not done on time. This government had lofty promises. So they were, at some point, I think we even heard that they were going to stabilize the Naira. Maybe it was also interpreted to mean that the Naira would be equal to the dollar.
Of course, that. Go ahead. But of course, that's not
those were the kinds of things that we heard. Those are the kind of promises that Nigerians were looking forward to. But if we look at where this government has taken over power and where we are right now, if we even look at the figures that the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics is still quoting, it's still 5 years of negative growth. Five consecutive quarters of negative growth. We haven't seen much in that area. Unemployment is still on the high. 2 years of inflation, we're talking about 35%, is the highest that we've seen so far in any administration.
17%, not that 5% inflation.
If we look at the combination of it, and 17% is still very high.
Right, yes.
Especially when we're coming from single-digit inflation.
Right.
So, for the ordinary man out there, I mean, this is also the time when we have also seen people have not been paid salaries, pensioners are being owed in many states. The vice president, the acting president, acknowledges as much.
Right.
So for a lot of people, they're yet to feel these things that government is talking about.
Well, you see, number one, where are we coming from? You're coming from a situation where you were earning $100 a barrel for crude to a situation where we were earning $30 a barrel per crude. It takes acute discipline, management of resources to even be where we are today. And that the truth must be told. When we came in 2015, the president had to issue a directive that all government revenues be put in the Treasury single account. Before then, we have over 22,000 various accounts with deposit money banks. And we were paying almost 4.7 billion naira every month in charges because people were borrowing, from those banks. Now, before we came in, the integrated personnel payroll information system was so compromised that within a period of less than 2 years, we were able to detect over 50,000 erroneous entries. And we've been saving we've saved over 180 billion naira, over that period of time. Now, if your resources, goes down from $100 a barrel to $30 a barrel, you would definitely have recession. There's no question about it. But the good news is that even despite all that, what have we achieved? Between October and today, we've been able to add an additional $7 billion to our foreign reserve. Be able to add an additional $87 million to the excess crude account. Be able to attract $500 million into the sovereign wealth fund. Now, just one. You see, people come and say, "Oh, they have not been able to pay salaries in states, in states." And I say, our position is this: we're running a federation where the states and federal governments have their responsibilities. 4 times this government has intervened to help states. When we came in 2015, about 24 to 26 states could not pay their salaries. Now, so please set aside what federal government needs to do, which we have done, and what we need to do. We did not, for 40 years, we had a defective, economic structure, whereby we relied only on one single product. And of course, when you have this kind of volatility in that product, it sends shock waves across the entire, economic landscape. But what we have done is that we have been able to hold the ship of state. And what have we achieved in infrastructure? When we came in, we inherited about 1.7 trillion. 1.7 trillion in debts. 202 roads were abandoned. In the entire year 2015, 18 billion naira was spent on roads. In 2016-2017, we spent 260 billion naira on roads. In the year 2015, only 5 billion naira was spent on power. We spent 99 billion naira on power.
But can we measure?
I like your diversification policy. It's laudable, no doubt about it. But let's go back to that rice issue and the Anchor Borrowers scheme that you have. Kebbi State, out of the 9 states that are supposed to be designated for this Anchor Borrowers program, is the only thriving state for the production of rice.
Not correct, no, sir. No, sir.
How do you respond to that? Because
but it's not true. See, go to Jigawa, go to Kano, go to Sokoto, go to even Imo. It's not correct to say that the Kebbi State is the only, one that is.
But you promised about 145,000 farmers would be under this scheme, and then you're having just about 70,000 that are benefiting from this. How do you explain that?
I don't know where you get your figures from.
It's all there. It's all there in the tabloids.
No, I don't know where you get. But what I know is that the Anchor Borrowers program has been a huge success in all those states. Now, why Kebbi State is singled out is because of the collaborative, project between Kebbi State and Lagos State, the Lake Rice. Now, but I can assure you that Jigawa, Kano, Sokoto, Ebonyi, Imo have done so well. As a matter of fact, I think it's our state governor that said that nobody should complain that is unemployed because the rice project is working very well in Ebonyi State.
I'm just looking at how this has impacted the quality of lives. If we still admit that, yes, we're coming from a period of difficulty and we're not totally out of that difficulty, to those people who are still feeling the pinch, I mean, when we look at how the Nigerian has fared in the last 2 years, say in the areas of healthcare, in the areas of education, in the areas of the general quality of life, can we really look them in the face and say that we have done well?
We have done well, because we have been very much worse. You see, take the issue of security, for instance. When we came in 2015, almost half of the entire Northeast was under the, economic control of Boko Haram. When we came in 2015, Boko Haram would stroll to Abuja and attack where they wanted to attack. Churches were not safe, mosques were not safe. There was no, even if the area of security is what all we have been able to achieve, I think it's what celebrating.
Unless, of course, just a moment, because you've talked about security.
Yes.
Unless, of course, we're discountenancing the new phenomenon of herdsmen and farmers at all.
Listen. You see, I am not denying that there's herdsmen and farmers, clashes. What I'm saying is that when we came in 2015, the territorial integrity of this country was at stake. A big proportion of this country was under, the occupation of Boko Haram. Abuja was not safe. Even Abuja, the capital, was not safe. And we must accept this. Now, there's no country in the world that doesn't have its own share of, clashes or terrorism. It is the ability and capacity of the government to address it that matters. Manchester, what happened in Manchester? A week ago. Now, so please, security, it's a global issue, and every country has its own peculiar challenges. The important is how are you addressing these challenges.
So, for instance, now this government understood that it had to, and promised that it was going to tackle the Boko Haram menace, which to a large extent it has. But then a new security challenge has emerged that has taken at least the lives of over 3,000 people.
Right.
If we were to look at places like Agatui in Benue and what has happened in the last couple of months in Kaduna, southern Kaduna, for instance, and even some other parts of the, north central Nigeria, with the farmers and herdsmen classes, and then clashes, beg your pardon, and then the pockets of attack we have here and there, then kidnapping also rearing its head. Is this government adapted, to the new? They're not maybe not necessarily new, but they're becoming more prominent security challenges that it has, or is it still taking pride in the fact that we've tackled Boko Haram to a large extent, and that's all we're going to do?
I think it would be uncharitable to say that the government is resting on its oars and is just basking in the euphoria of having achieved this success with Boko Haram. Now we all knew what used to happen in Lagos, in Ikorodu. Of course, the military, the government went there and took decisive actions. Now, there's nowhere in the world you're not going to have this conflict, this menace, kidnapping, armed robbery. Nowhere in the world. Now, but in